The Boeing ACERS system is still transmitting right now, and the NTSB can't stop it. Every commercial Boeing aircraft in the sky is pinging the company's servers. Position, engine temperature, control surface deflection. The National Transportation Safety Board investigated what Boeing knew before two planes fell out of the sky. They published their findings. Boeing complied with most of them, and the telemetry handshake is still running, every few minutes, every flight. Feeding a pipeline the NTSB has no authority to touch. ACERS, the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, built in the 1970s to give airlines and manufacturers real-time communication with aircraft in flight. Safety of flight, maintenance alerts, weather routing. That's the official story, and it's mostly true. Airlines get fuel reports, mechanics get engine fault codes, air traffic control gets position data. Modern ACERS on a 787 runs over satellite uplinks, not VHF radio alone. It transmits with a persistent identifier, the aircraft's unique ICAO code, every 2 to 4 minutes. That identifier never changes, that ping never stops. And it doesn't only go to the airline, it goes to Boeing, into a proprietary analytics pipeline written into every purchase contract the company has ever signed. Boeing has a division called Analytics, their proprietary data intelligence arm. Airlines pay for access to its outputs. What most passengers don't know and what those purchase agreements don't advertise is that mirrored telemetry flows to Boeing's own infrastructure simultaneously. Engine health, flight envelope data, control surface positions. On the MAX series aircraft, that means MCAS activation logs. The exact software that caused 2 aircraft to pitch nose down and kill 346 people. Boeing was receiving that data in real time. The logs existed. In the 14 months between Lion Air 610 in October 2018 and Ethiopian Airlines 302 in March 2019, those pings were hitting Boeing's servers carrying MCAS fault signatures that never reached the FAA, never reached the NTSB. Sat inside Boeing's own analytics infrastructure, under a commercial data agreement, while pilots on 3 continents were fighting an aircraft they didn't fully understand. The NTSB launched one of the most comprehensive aviation investigations in its history after Ethiopian 302. Their final report ran 489 pages. It named Boeing's engineering culture, the FAA certification process, and the training gap that kept pilots ignorant of a system actively trying to override them. Congressional hearings, CEO testimony, criminal settlements. And then investigators asked the obvious question, what did Boeing's own telemetry show in the months between the 2 crashes? The NTSB requested the Analytics records. Boeing cooperated selectively. What reached federal investigators had been filtered through Boeing's legal team first. The NTSB couldn't push further. They have no subpoena authority over pre-accident operational telemetry. Their jurisdiction starts at the crash site. The data that existed before impact is Boeing's property. Here's the part nobody reported. The NTSB doesn't regulate aviation, they investigate. The FAA regulates. But the FAA's relationship with Boeing is one of the most documented cases of regulatory capture in American industry. Boeing employees were deputized as FAA designees, certifying their own aircraft on the agency's behalf. That arrangement was partially reformed after the MAX crashes, but the telemetry pipeline was never part of the conversation. It isn't an airworthiness issue. It's a data contract, a commercial agreement between a manufacturer and a buyer. The FAA has no authority to compel transparency on how Boeing processes that telemetry, what anomaly flags it generates, what it archives, or what it surfaces to its own engineering teams. The mechanism that makes this unstoppable isn't technical. It's legal. Boeing embedded ACERS data collection into standard purchase agreements before any regulatory framework existed to govern what aircraft manufacturers could do with real-time flight data. There is no federal statute defining who owns the telemetry a Boeing aircraft generates while airborne. The law never caught up, and it's still running. Thousands of commercial Boeing aircraft pinging the company's servers every 4 minutes, generating a dataset that no federal agency has unfiltered access to, under a legal architecture that was never designed to be audited. Think about what that means for the aircraft you board next. Every Boeing flight generates a telemetry record. Your tail number, your flight path, this specific airframe's engine anomalies, control system behavior across the last 100 flights. That data lives in Boeing's infrastructure, not the airlines alone, not the FAA's. Boeing knows in near real time if the aircraft you're boarding has a fault pattern consistent with a documented failure mode. They had that visibility before Ethiopian 302. What they chose to do with it, what decisions were made internally, what flags were reviewed, what legal counsel determined didn't require disclosure, remains outside the public record. What they're doing right now, with the telemetry streaming in from every 737 and MAX currently airborne, is governed by a commercial contract, not a federal safety mandate. The NTSB can investigate after the fuselage hits the ground. They cannot compel Boeing to tell you what their system is currently showing about the aircraft you just boarded. Boeing's Analytics division monetizes this pipeline. Airlines pay for predictive maintenance packages derived from their own aircraft's data, telemetry Boeing collected, and now sells back to the operators who generated it. A revenue stream. Which means Boeing has a direct financial incentive to keep this system running, keep it proprietary, and keep it beyond the reach of federal transparency requirements. The NTSB knows this. Congressional aviation committees know this. Multiple reform proposals have stalled in committee without a vote, and every 4 minutes another ping goes out. Who is reading those fault flags right now, and what they are choosing not to escalate? That is the question no regulator has been granted the legal authority to answer.